Hello and welcome to Stage 3 of the Brabham Royale. I am abandoning my test because my test has been getting me in trouble. I want to thank all the people who've been commenting on my videos, sharing their times, and how my bots were way faster. So I've got to abandon this now and get this event back under control because, well, I get into some trouble today. Now this stage is fun, and oh yes, there are timestamp links in the description if you want to hop around a little bit. And yeah, fun stage. I like weaving in out of the traffic here. So part of abandoning my strategy for this particular event means Norm is going to see a lot of my bumper, because as soon as you get your drafting done, this event is over and you will get first place no matter what you do. So I've done this a few times. I actually made it so that I was finishing in almost last place with Norm, but it still puts you in first place. So all you can do is get some time on the clock so that hopefully you're managing the bots a little bit, because yeah, I wasn't doing very good with that. Oh, poor Norm. I feel bad because Norm's such a nice guy and I'm really roughing up his car, and well, he'd be having a pretty rough time in that car, but I guess he's in full race gear. If you've seen many of my videos, you know I really like to give Magnus a difficult time. And he's kind of got it coming. Now, that's a really fast car. I like that Porsche. In fact, there will be an event for this one later on where you could earn this one in a limited time series event. So this is going to keep on going on for a while. Let's go into a little bit of a fast forward mode here. Going 4 times regular speed. Shove Norm, pit Norm, wait for Norm, shove Norm, pit Norm, wait for Norm. I do a pretty bad pit maneuver on him at the top here. He ends up eating that wall, and so did I. Here, let's come out of warp here, because now we're getting into Norm's revenge. I'm very surprised how fast he is. I really got the bots really fast. So I'm aggressively blocking him, and look at this. I mean, I am really trying to keep him behind me, and he's just on the verge of pitting me. Or doing the pit maneuver. And, there he did it again. Okay, well, we're going to end this dance right away, get this event over with, and get on to the next one. Now, I didn't mean to pit him that time. I actually was trying to get behind him, because I don't want to drag this out any longer. Okay, there you go. So it just ended just like that. And so that drags things out a little bit. I was hoping that would slow the bots down. Did a little bit, but it didn't do very much. I've got no upgrades. There you go. See, 0 of 28 upgrades. I'm still doing it that way. Now this, I talked about when you've got an average speed race like this and you don't want to win by a massive amount, or if you're having trouble meeting average speed, drive backwards for a while. So you're going to see what happens here, that it's a very effective way of doing this. We're not going to do this whole thing at regular speed because it would turn into a pretty long and maybe a boring race. But there you go. You can see I'm already hitting average speed, and we're going to go fast forward here for a while, dodging traffic. The scary thing about driving backwards like this, you have no idea where you're going to meet the bots, and you kind of know where they should be driving. Doesn't mean they're going to be driving there. Bots don't always do what we expect them to do. Okay, so I turn around. By the way, the interior display on this thing is just awesome. So you lose speed when you do a turnaround, and I was going pretty slow for some of this uphill section when I was driving against traffic. But you'll see here, right about now, there we go, hitting average speed. And from this point forward, I mean, this is easy. So let's just skip the rest of this race. And at the end here, you can see I had no trouble meeting the minimum average speed. And still finished in 9th place. So if you drove back, I mean, you could drive back 10 laps if you want to. And yeah, some really slow cars here. So yeah, you could have finished in last place if you really wanted to. I didn't want to waste that much time. So still pretty under upgraded here. I did add 3 upgrades to do this stage, 2 speed related and 1 brakes. So I found I needed that to hit the speed requirement. which I will do on the back section of this track, on the downhill section. I also switched over to miles per hour, as you can see. I don't usually do that. However, when the minimum speed requirement is listed in miles per hour as a whole number, meaning no decimal places, this is a much easier way of knowing when you've hit speed, because sometimes you're just waiting to see that number and then you hit the brakes. And it's harder sometimes when there's decimal places and you can't see the decimal place going in the speedometer, so to say. It's not really a speedometer, but I guess it is. It's giving us our speed. So just trying to keep it clean. You want to keep your nose clean. You want to avoid front end damage. Not a lot that can be done about managing your position. So here's where we see that the fire monkeys know full well that if we finish with a massive lead, it's going to make the bots harder. So look at this, already 1,600 yards. Boy, I'm so used to meters. Yards and meters aren't too different, but they definitely are. So boy, and this is only the first lap, and so you can tell this is a really bad stage for increasing bot difficulty. And I have a wonderful solution for you when it comes to stage 4. Sorry, when it comes to stage 3.4. Stage 4 is, well, not till tomorrow. So I want to use that car again. I'm going to push him around the track a bit because I want to use him as a drafting partner. He's the only car on this whole circuit that actually has some speed. Now, I'm very shocked at how slow he is in the corners. I was expecting him to be quite fast in that club sport, but he's not. There he is. And then he stays behind these guys, and I'm trying not to get damaged. So, come on, I'm trying to push this guy forward. Well, let's just push this whole race forward for a bit. There we go. Now Norm's moving. Go, Norm, go. We'll pull out of this speed once we get going down the hill. And then you'll get a better chance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Norm get a little bit ahead of me so that I can get a nice little run here and then close up on his bumper. And that should give me enough of a tow, because he'll start driving off. But you know, I need to hit 198. And getting pretty close. Now I gotta watch, because he's gonna be braking for that bot. But I think I'm good. Now I'm gonna use him as a wall. Use that one as a wall. Flying off track. And I've got extra time. Lots of extra time. Well, I'm going to wind down the clock, but I'm not going to make you sit here and wait through it. We're going to go through that fast. There's lots of time to kill. And I'm going to go through just at about, well, a little over 1 second. I'll go across that line. There we go. So I dragged that out as long as I could, met all my requirements. And you can see I have 1 engine, 1 drivetrain, and 1 brakes. And then I need to add more upgrades and get creative. I spent a few hours on this one, and I've got some good solutions. Race 4 of Stage 3 is very hard, especially if you are doing what I was doing, which is not slowing the bots. And I'm going to show you how disastrous that was for me. If you watch some other people's videos, you're going to see that my Norm is very different. Like right here, he looks normal, and I could get ahead of him here if I want to and try to slow him down a little bit, but then just watch what happens. Because I had to go watch a few people's videos to see, am I just really bad at this stage, or is something else going on? So, if you watch other people's videos, they catch up to Norm right here. Not my Norm. And I did pretty good on that corner. And coming up here, they catch up some more. Nope, not my Norm. And then watch this. Norm goes bye-bye. Just going and going like, man, this Norm can drive. For other people, Norm would be braking right here. Not my Norm. The red numbers have appeared. So this is a big problem. And either the old wisdom was you can't do bot slowing unless you are at or above minimum PR requirements. Well, I started testing something and I found out that's not always true. I mean, just look at this. Even if I cut off track, I can't really catch the guy. And look at my Norm. Ready? Oh my goodness, is he ever fast. Okay, so let's go into this and just fail. Just quit. This is an old trick that used to work. There you can see already, I've already done it a few times. Oh, well, it doesn't seem to be working. Do it a bunch more times. Now it does seem to be working. Bunch more times. 152. Whole bunch more times. I'm even skipping some of the times that I did it. 157. 159. Okay, now watch the difference. Same upgrades. I've got all ones for upgrades. Watch how different Norm drives. I mean, I had to get on the brakes because I didn't want to plow him in the bumper. No problem getting a lot of drafting here. Then you want to pass him so you can slow him down a little bit and limit how far he gets ahead of you. But don't do that for too long. Scrape a little bit to slow him down. Get a good amount of drafting in here. And then watch. This is where it all changed for me. This time around, I've got a really, I'm actually hitting the guy. I didn't really mean to be doing that. He's so much slower. And here, heavy on the brakes. I have to over brake. So that's how you can slow them down. And I am not at minimum PR. I am just one upgrade under minimum PR. Now I did test this. Oh, see, watch this. He's hitting the brakes. You recall at the beginning of this, he's driving off on me. And then coming up here, I've got to be really careful so I don't fail the stage. I was very shocked that this worked. This is an old special event trick. So there you go. I would suggest, even if your bots are good, just do it and see what happens. And worst case scenario, you could restore. But if you do it enough, it'll change. Every single race, it's going to be a little bit different. It'll go up and down, up and down. But eventually, it starts to go longer and longer. I never saw a time over 2 minutes. I didn't push it that far. And here, I could go way off track if I wanted to, but just a little bit will be enough. Because I got quite a bit to get in yet. And then I'm going to cut off track to pass him. And you'll see that, well, all that pushing really sped Norm up. There we go to the final time. So that's a lot faster, but I was pushing him so much. So boy, am I ever happy. I've got my bots slowed back down. Stage 4 should hopefully be a lot easier for me. Thank you guys again for helping me to see that this is not working. It was an interesting theory to test, and now we know definitively that bot slowing works. Watch how you drive. Thank you for joining me, and happy racing.